Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today I want to give you the updates that we heard from the subscriber town hall, which was all focused on the persistent universe. I apologise, my voice has slipped away from me, it's coming back slowly. But anyway, the first question we had was, will individual planets have unique terrain, and how will this contribute to gameplay? And he said that the big focus is to have various ecosystems within each planet, so you'll have rocky, desert, forest, etc, etc. Plus, the different challenges will include different weather, wildlife, different resources. It's not going to be like Star Wars, for example, where you have just maybe one snow planet or a forest planet. Star Citizen will have more variety on each planet. Long term, they say gameplay and challenges will relate to the ecosystem. So, for example, you could crash land onto a planet, get your distress beacon going, and then you'll have to survive and wait while you are waiting to be rescued. Maybe you need to hunt wildlife to eat and find a water supply, or maybe there's just a special mineral that you need to find to help fix your ship. The environments are not just cosmetic like the terrain. Weather will play an integral part to the gameplay as well. Some areas of the planet may need a particular environmental suit, or if there's a great amount of radiation, you may need some armor plating for your ship, or maybe just find shelter during a bad weather storm. You will need specific tools and equipment for whatever job or location you're exploring. Chris did say that there may not be like a quadrillion planets to explore, but if you think about how we are still discovering areas of Earth and oil resources and things etc. on planet Earth, many planets in Star Citizen will have just as much going for them, and then exploring them, you'll be exploring them for years to come. Anyway, next question is, how are you planning to handle on-foot and in-flight exploration on a planet like Arccore that is completely covered by factories? Now, the idea, they say, is that when you approach these planets, you'll be granted a landing pad and a chosen flight path for that, or to get to that pad. If you deviate out of this flight path, then an auto system will kick in and sort of redirect you. Not so much taking over the controls, completely just sort of veer you back onto path. Other planets will allow you to land anywhere, but if you are around a city or close to a city within that planet, then you'll be granted another landing flight path and so forth. So you can't just fly around Arccore with it being a completely built-up planet, but the other planets you will be able to. So moving on, how will the PU work during logouts, ISP disconnects, on a multi-crew ship on a player interaction basis? Now they say the concept that they're going with is if you disconnect, your ship and your character will persist for a little time to allow you to log back on and reconnect to it. Also, if on a multi-crew ship with other real-life players on board the ship, it will just persist. If everyone logs off though, the ship will persist for a small amount of time, save the position and the status of your ship, and then it will disappear. Then when you log back in again, you will be back on the ship in the same location, so you can do long distance travelling in that way. If other ships are in the location though, they would have some sort of logic so that when you do log back on, you're not going to be in the same place as this ship. If you are wanting to log off though, find a place where you're happy to leave your ship, go to your bed, and that'll save it and log it and allow you to log off safely. This will then despawn your ship. Now this practice will also stop combat logging, because if if your ship remains behind for a short while after you log off, you will then leave it vulnerable, so people can't just pull the plug quickly in a rage and expect that their ship will be fine. This will also count for that it'll be the same system on a planet or in space. So, next question. How will the game handle multi-day or multi-week guild run campaigns in the PU? And it follows perfectly on from the last question. If there is a bunch of you on a ship and your guild, you could take it in shifts where one group would be flying for so long, and then if it gets to the time for them to go to sleep or go to work or whatever, they would head to the beds, log off while your other crew logs back in again. So I think that would just be so cool. If you're on the bridge, a group of other players come out from the bedrooms and be like, right, we're here now, you can log off, and just literally like taking it in shifts. So clever. This would also allow your ship to just continue on. If you have disconnected or if your ship gets destroyed though, you would then respawn at the closest respawn point, which is likely to be a hospital or med bay if you were on board when it blew up. If you're going to log out, they say, make sure that you're not near hostiles, as your ship will still persist. It's kind of finding a balance between the convenience and the exploitation. And to be honest, it sounds like it's going to work quite well. Anyway, next question. What happens if you disconnect as the captain and, say, the crew you've hired decided to take your ship somewhere else? Now, they said that the ships will have a bigger sense of security. So if you don't give permission to anyone to use the helm, then, technically they won't have the keys to the ignition. Whether or not they can hack into it, I don't know. They didn't mention you could, but we'll have to wait and see. Reputation will also play a part in this, so when you're hiring other people or other players, be it NPC or real players, you will not be doing it blind, you will have some form of information to help you. There will always be some risk of having your ship stolen or destroyed. This just encourages you to take care of your possessions. If you steal a ship, you'll not likely have the proper papers and you will not be able to sell it on every planet, so you can't just fly down to Artcore and sell a ship that you've managed to steal from someone. You'll have to locate some form of black market ship dealer. Plus, the law enforcement will be looking for you and will engage you if they find you. As they move closer to 3.0, he says, they want to incentivize you to keep your ship running and keep it repaired and out of situations of being destroyed. So next question, how will the PU handle instancing of missions and the NPC enemies that spawn around them? In the mini PU currently, now we have a direct correlation between a number of players in the area and the number of NPC pirates that spawn. He says he realizes this is just a temporary solution, but will the final PU use a similar process to scale the difficulty of a mission based on the number and quality of the players accepting it? Now, as we know, right now it is far simpler. They are going to do something a lot more in depth, where it's not just the capabilities of you and your friends, but the number and type of ships that you're using, the capabilities of those ships, your reputation, the what you're carrying. All this will be factored into a database of possible missions. For example, if you're a freighter without escorts, this will make you a particularly interesting spot for pirates. So next question, could you comment on any of the environmental risks that we can expect to see in the PU? They say you may find a derelict ship with a radiation or oxygen leak, which would require specific suits and tools to explore and fix it up. Multi-crew ships will be a large part in the final gameplay. Right now they say it's not, because there's only a pilot seat really. The turrets still need work, and they did say that they're waiting for item 2.0 before they tackle turrets any further. You know, eventually there will be things like scanning, radar, communications, all this will be coming. Also, components of your ships will have age and wear, and not keeping up with the maintenance of your ships and its components, they'll break down and will need fixing or replacing. The plan is to make quantum drive not as automatic, so say if you're powering up for a long distance quantum jump, then things could short out because you're overpowering the system if it's an old item or an old component. In combat for multi-crew as well, if you are all working together, fixing the leaks and replacing the fuses, then your ship's life will be extended. They did say that all ships, space stations, ground buildings, all use the same power system method, and you could actively disrupt a particular system intelligently to hinder people. So, for example, you could cut off the power to a certain room and lock everyone in. We have not seen the potential of multi-crew yet, but he also said that taking a ship, so boarding a ship, is not just going to be like it is now where you can run on board and kill a couple of people and then the ship's yours. It's going to be long, drawn-out battles that will need planning and persistence, which didn't answer the question at all, really. But anyway, next question. Could it be possible in the far distant future to retire with our character and do some farming? Like a mini-game, like Harvest Moon, for example, having a small house on Goss, a field and a garden. And they say, yes, you could go and find a distant locale and set it all up there. It will be easy to find a spot where you're all alone, but there's always a possibility of being found. So it does sound like you can have your own little homestead, which would be lovely, but you will never be alone. There is always the chance that someone could stumble across you. So, second to last question, will there be multiple currencies perhaps used by different races? If so, will there be any variation in the exchange rate? Now, they say they're starting out with just UEC. Most likely they will have currency for the Jan and the Banu. That's more of a longer term aspect. We wouldn't trade in it, it would just be translated to UEC. But for future expansions of the game, they like perhaps playing as an alien race, it would make more sense to have their currency too. So, final question, will people or ships get the capability to activate a distress beacon of sorts that broadcasts their locations to nearby ships? This could become a risky thing due to attracting pirates and such, of course. In the PU as it stands, there are missions with ships that have distress beacons, yet players have none of it. And they say, yes, you can have distress call to pull in security forces if you're under attack. Then you could maybe have, I need someone to come and rescue me. Or even you could be looking to hire someone, more of a service beacon. This service beacon will be coming with the Moby Glass, where you could basically request if there's something that you need. Kind of a dynamic job board, so if you need refueling, escorting, or repair, so on and so forth, you can set your own requests, and then real people can say yes or no depending on what you're willing to pay. And you can also choose who it is that you want to come and rescue you or help you, be it officials or your guild only or friends only, so on and so forth. But anyway, that was the town hall. Some really good information there. A lot of it is stuff we already know, but it's always nice to rehear the main plan for the persistent universe. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I am very excited for 3.0. It cannot come soon enough.